A former gangbanger says that 80% of the men on death row came from fatherless homes. Those young men, he says, turned to gang leaders to fill the void of the man that should have been their first role model, their father.
Even scripture helps us to appreciate, love your neighbor as well as yourself. But if I don't love me, if I don't feel good about me, how am I supposed to feel good about you and your future and your children? See, this is the mindset that we have to work against, you know. Those individuals, they have no problem going to prison. They have no problem dying in the life of crime.
It's the story of many young men here in the Bahamas, boys growing up without a father, forced to find a role model in someone else. For this reformed criminal, he's been down a path that led him to prison and has since changed his life. But Drexel Deal's convinced that Her Majesty's prisons is not the place for criminals to become reformed, but rather all it does is teach a rookie criminal how to become a professional.
But Frederick Douglass said something more than 150 years ago. He said, the thing worse than rebellion is the thing that caused rebellion. Fatherless homes. That was what brought the rebellion raiders around. Fatherless homes. So that is what is wasting the gangs. The police officers, for the most part, all they're doing is fighting flames. And when I say fighting flame, I don't know if you ever use an extinguisher to out a fire. One of the things they tell you, never point the nozzle at the flame. Point it at the base. That is where the fuel is. And so crime, murders, they're all flames that the police is fighting. The root cause of the problem is fatherless homes.
Mr. Deal, who was appearing as a guest on Love 97's Issues of the Day talk show with host Wendell Jones, went on to speak of his experiences from being kicked out of high school at age 16 to joining one of the most notorious gangs at the time, the Rebellion Raiders. Mr. Deal says most of his fellow gangsters got their training at the University of Yabacra, the street name given to Foxhill Prison.
Yes, and so when I talk about that war within, it was us. We became the top of the chart in terms of the gang world. We were the most noted street gang out there, and it was us who brought us down in that regards. Sad to say, a lot of my friends were killed by my other friends.
A lot of your friends were killed?
By other friends.
Mr. Deal's life took an unexpected turn when he bit off a bit more than he can chew. He tried to rob an armored truck and ended up losing his sight.
And you know what the sad part about it, Mr. Jones? For me, it wasn't about the cash, you know.
What was it?
It was the thrill.
The thrill?
It was the thrill. The excitement. It was, to me, it was like attending the Olympic Games. This was as big as it gets. Scriptures again points out in Proverbs chapter 10, verse 23, you know what I mean, that those who doing wrong, it becomes like a sport.
Now, Mr. Deal insists if he didn't lose his sight, there's no doubt he would have continued along the same path and would have probably ended up dead. Mr. Deal is the author of the book, The Fight of My Life is Wrapped Up in My Father. It is available at local bookstores. Reporting for JCN News, I'm Kyle Joaquin.